Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome all the devotees for our today's session. So today first we'll start with a bhajan and then we'll go ahead with our discussion. So this bhajan will be led by Subhangi today. Okay. So this is a very beautiful bhajan written by one of our acharya. He is praying to the Lord, "Oh Lord, please appear in my heart." So it's a very sincere prayer by a devotee. Is written by Acharya called Bhakti Thakur. His Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and his father is Bhakti Thakur. So okay, let's hear this beautiful bhajan.
Mama mana mandire rahani shidina Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari
Mama mana mandire rahani shidina Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari
Mama mana mandire rahani shidina Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari
Mama mana mandire rahani shidina Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari
Bhakti Priti Mala Chanda
Bhakti Priti Mala Chanda
Tumi niyo hai niyo
Chitananda
Tumi niyo hai niyo
Tumi niyo Chitananda
Jivana Marana Tava Puja
Jivana Marana Tava Puja
Nivedana
Nivedana
Sundara hai manahari
Sundara hai Manahari
Sundara hai
Sundara hai
manahari
Manahari
Nanda Kumar
Nanda Kumar
Habe prema pradipe arati tomar
Have Prema Pradipe Arati Toma
prema pradipe arati tomar
Have Prema Pradipe Arati Toma
Nayana jamuna chare aniba
नयन जमुना झरे आनी बा
तुम्हारा विरहे गिरिधारी
तुम्हारा बिरहे गिरिधारी
तुम्हारा विरहे गिरिधारी
तुम्हारा बिरहे गिरिधारी
बंधन गण तब बाजो जीवन
बंदन गाने तब बाजो जीवन
कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
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 मम मन मंदिरे रहनि श्री दीना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
मम मन मंदिरे रहनि श्रीदेना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
मम मन मंदिरे रहनि श्री दीना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
मम मन मंदिरे रहनि श्रीदेना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
भक्ति प्रीतिमल चंदा
भक्ति प्रीतिमल चंदा तुम्हें नियो है नियो
चिदानंद
तुम्हें नियो है नियो चितानंदा
जीवन मरण तब पूजा निवेदन
जीवन मरण तब पूजा निवेदन
सुंदर है मनहारी
सुंदर है मनहारी
नंद कुमार नंद कुमार
नंद कुमार नंद कुमार
हबे प्रेम प्रदीप आरती तोमर
हबे प्रेम प्रदीप आरती तोमा
नयन जमुना झरे आने बार
नयन जमुना झरे आनी बा
तुम्हारा विरहे गिरिधारी
तुम्हारा विरहे गिरिधारी
बंदन गने तब बाजो जीवना
वंदन गाने तब बाजो जीवना
कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी कृष्ण मुरारी
श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
मन मंदिरे रहनि श्री देना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी
मम मन मंदिरे रहनि श्रीदेना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी हरि बोल।
Translation. Please abide in the temple of my heart, both day and night, O Krishna Murari, O Sri Krishna Murari. Devotion, love, flower, garlands, and sandalwood. Please accept them, O delight of the heart. In life or in death, I worship you with these offerings. Beautiful one, O chanter of the heart. Come, son of Nanda, and then, O son of Nanda, I will offer your arti ceremony with the lamplight of my love. The waters of the Yamuna river cascade incessantly from my eyes in your separation, O holder of Govardhan Hill. May I pass my life absorbed only in songs of pure praise. O Krishna Murari, O Sri Krishna Murari.
Haribo. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So it's a very beautiful bhajan once again, where Bhakti Vinod Thakur is offering his heartfelt love and begging the Lord to come and reside in the heart, in the temple of our heart. Okay, so just a quick Mangala Charan, then we'll proceed. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarini Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today briefly we'll discuss on a beautiful theme called Heart of Bhakti. So first of all, what do you mean by heart? I'd like to hear from you. What do you mean by heart? Somebody says somebody had heart attack. What do you mean by that? Or somebody says his heart is broken because he lost something. So what is a heart? Heart, is it an organ? Is
feeling,
it
Prabhu? Feeling.
Okay. Is it just emotions, feeling? Because somebody says even the emotions or feelings is nothing but some chemicals that is really gets secreted through the different brain functions, and somehow if some secretion happens, then you get positive emotions. Some secretion happens, you get negative emotions, and so on. Emotions. Somebody might say that okay, it is just some chemical theory. Here, Anjulata Mataji is saying that or Dr. Amresh Prabhu is saying where the spirit soul resides. Where the spirit soul resides? Where does this spirit soul reside? Yes. Yeah. Wow. Tina Mataji, thank you for joining after a long time. Okay. This is a very beautiful and very deep statement Mataji has written. The child is the heart of a family. That's a very deep and powerful statement. Just like we say that heart or brain, these are like the hardware, and your like mind or intelligence. This is like in a software. So this is very subtle. Like once you really talk about the consciousness or the soul, this is subtle, right? Like it really doesn't have any physical location as such. It is just the subtle body that really resides, right? Yes, in maybe the physical heart, or somebody might relate to it also as a mind as well, because most of the times, because of our contamination, we relate our heart, more to the brain. That's what yes, somebody might say that, okay, it's a brain, because that's what somebody says, that, okay, he's absent-minded, means he's not conscious, he's not present there, his mind is somewhere else, his brain is somewhere else. Or somebody says that, okay, my heart is broken. Yeah, it's talking about emotions, right? Sometimes we say that, okay, emotions also comes from the heart, and that's usually we refer to that. But then, right, like, how do you really develop some emotions, or how do you really like develop a relationship, right? Like, once you talk about heart, people really relate to the relationship, right? Like, if I said some name, like, let's say Madhuri, right? Let's say there's a name called Madhuri, right? So somebody, uh, might say that, okay, who is that Madhuri? Nobody might have that, idea who is that Madhuri. Like, it hardly gives any meaning to that name, right? But then somebody says, no, 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 Madhuri, right? Like, yes, she is beautiful, and she is so love, having so much of brain, and she is so much emotional, and see this and that. Like, then you really know more about Madhuri. But then somebody says that, no, 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 don't you know? No, she is the daughter of like, your let's say husband, sisters, right? Then you start developing a relationship, and then you don't only, right, not only relate that name just for a name or with some characteristics, but then you start developing attraction towards that person, because now she is related to you. You're able to follow? Well, most of the times, once we hear the Lord, like there's a Krishna or Rama or Radharani, most of the times we feel like it's just like Coca-Cola, or like Pepsi, or some cricketer, or this or that, like somehow whatever is there in our mind, which has been carried forward for the millions of lifetimes, we relate that name to our consciousness, to our mentality. But then, the acharyas tell us, from the scriptures we hear, from the devotees we hear, so many opulence of the Lord, so many sweetness of the Lord, how Lord is so merciful. But then we hear that, like, not only Krishna is so magnanimous, Krishna is not only so magnificent, Krishna is not only so powerful, but also he's so merciful. Then we know a little bit more about him. But then still, most of the times we are not able to connect with the Lord. Our understanding of the Supreme Lord most of the times is related to only, focused only on the head. We try to analyze, like one devotee was asking too many questions. Oh, how can I see soul? How can I see Lord? And things like that, because really coming from this engineering analytical background, we try to analyze everything. And one sannyasi said to him that, Lord is not like, engineering object that you're going to analyze. How does he look like? How does he, test like? How does it this or that? Like, he's beyond perception. That's why he's called Adhak Shoja. He cannot be really understood through our material senses, our material perceptions, our material intelligence. That's why he's called Adhok Saja. He's beyond our sense perception. But then, yes, we can really connect to him, through the relationship. And that's what, we have been discussing in so many sessions, right? Like, what is the essence of all the Vedas? We described it in 3 steps, right? First, what we said? The essence of all the Vedas is, first is that Sambandha. Sambandha means what? Like, yes, I am like a soul, and there is a Supreme Lord, and I am a part and parcel of the Lord. And that is a Sambandha. Like, we say that, okay, like this is Sambandhi relationship, right? Between a boy and girl, like they start a relationship, or like, a mother, right? The first time she might see a child in the ward, right? Born, right? And then she might not develop a relationship towards the child. But then once the nurse comes and doctor says, no, no, she is your child, start developing that relation. So much affection really comes forward, from the heart. Right? right? So what is really required is that how we need to develop that relationship, not only from the intellectual perspective, from the emotions perspective, that yes, we are part and parcel of the Lord, and Lord is everything for us. Mama mana mandire rahan. How that longingness is there, that because Lord is saying sadhava hrudayam mayam sadhunam hrudayam toham madanyata ne janati. Like, Lord Vishnu is saying to, there was some Muni, especially in the 9th canto. He's saying that, I am in the heart of all the sadhus, and sadhus are there in my heart. They don't know anything beyond me, and I also don't know anything beyond them. Yes, Lord is saying that, sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivisto. I am there in everybody's heart. But yes, we are not able to realize that. We are not able to connect, because we are covered with so much of layers and layers and layers of ignorance and arrogance, and sometimes maybe innocence, whatever it is. But we are not able to realize the most lovable person, who is so dear to us, who is so well-wisher of us. We are not able to recognize. Just like child, most of the times once they grown up, they don't realize that yes, father is there or parents are there, right, as a well-wisher, as a benefactor, right? But they say, no, I don't recognize, I want to live my independent life. Right? So they they want to really have their own way of life, but then they can really enjoy so much. They can, with that loving reciprocation that they can develop, with their parents. Right? Of course, right? What is really required is that, like saying, right, like my father, my mother, I love you, right? Or in any relationship we might talk about. So yes, first of all, we need to realize that the Lord is there in our heart, and our subsistence, our existence is nothing, beyond recognize that supreme person who is always there, ever well-wishing for us, to correct us, to really purify us, and to take us back to Godhead. Like, there's a beautiful place where there is no kunta, there is no misery, where we don't have worry about any anxiety in life. That place He want to take us. He want to give us, He want to shower us with so much of opulence, that we don't have really worry about the so-called miseries of this material world. Are we really willing? Are we really able to connect to Him? So I thought that, okay, while you are talking about heart, right? Heart, like, sort of the physical heart, right? Like it has 4 chambers, like right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle. Like, some of you might have heard, right, or gone through in your schoolings, how the deoxygenated blood goes, and then it pumps into the lungs, get oxygenated blood, and from there, how the blood goes into all over the body. Similarly, once you talk about the heart of bhakti, right? This heart of bhakti is all about, right, how do we really once again purify our soul, like that's what Prabhupada says, reawakening our soul. This love of Godhead is really dormant in our heart. How we have to reawaken it, because it is covered with anarthas. So how we have to remove the anarthas, and how to enlighten and bring that artha in our heart. And how do we really enlighten that dormant love that is there within heart? And so how do we do it? Through this 4 components that is there in bhakti. The first thing is that, yes, we said we have to recognize that Lord is there always in our heart to support us, to guide us, to give us everything what we want. And once we really sincerely call out, in that begging mood, in that surrender mood. And then in this Kali Yuga, yes, it is very difficult for us to realize the Lord's presence in our heart. That's why we have been discussing over the last couple of weeks how the most magnificent form of the Lordships, Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, they appeared to really awaken that love of Godhead within our heart. Because yes, though Lord is there, but our heart is really filled with so much of dirt, like recently one of our devotee was giving this example. It's a very gross, very crude example, but please bear with me, because it is like that. Like, he was saying that our heart is like, unflushed toilet, which is there for so many days. It's really stinking. What is stinking is all about? So much of enviousness, so much of anger, so much of jealousy, so much of hatred towards others. This is nothing but that stinking smell that is coming from the heart. But the pure heart, is so full of fragrance. So yes, in that stinking heart, we're not able to recognize the Lord, though He's there. Then Sri Gaurnitai comes. Then Uttama Adhama, like they don't differentiate. Patra vichar nahi sthana sthan. Jai jahan paye taha kare premadhan. So Sri Gaurnitai in that most magnificent form, they don't differentiate whether somebody is qualified, not qualified. And they are really offering, they are showering their full benediction to everybody. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi. And only through the mercy of Sri Gaurnitai, Ara Kobe Nitai Chandar Karuna Hoidu. Like, one will have the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, one will have the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then only will be able to understand the love of Sri Radha and Krishna, because they have come how to approach the Supreme Lord. Apani Achari Bhakti Sikhai Busavar, because they have come here to teach us how to do bhakti. So that's the second component, the second chamber in our heart is that how do we really invite Sri Sri Gaurnitai? Because as soon as we invite, as soon as we get the loving glance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is said that Biswam Purnam Sukhayate. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, we heard so many times, this world is all about Dukkhalay Masasatam. It's a place of misery. But then, once we take shelter of Sri Sri Gaurnitai, everything becomes so wonderful. Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet. Like, even the most difficult things become so easy, with the mercy and with the loving glance of Sri Sri Gaurnitai. And then, how do you get even, know about Sri Sri Gaurnitai? How do you really bring even Sri Sri Gaurnitai in our heart? Only through our acharyas. That's the third chamber in our heart. Through our acharyas, through the devotees of the Lord, through the Guru Parampara of the Lord. They really, just like we always get that example of the power station. Through the power station, right, how the electricity comes through the various substations, right? Similarly, the mercy flows, in that line. We cannot directly approach the Lord, and like at any point of time, a devotee never feels that, oh, I don't directly want to serve the Lord. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has defined our position as Gopi Bhartur Padakamalaya Das Das Dasanudas. Like, our position is that we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. Like, a devotee doesn't want to enjoy directly Krishna, directly enjoy the Supreme Lord. He wants to serve. Like, that's why our parampara is, we call it the Manjari Bhav. Once we talk about Radha Krishna, they have gopis, Asta gopis, and then they have like some gopis who are really helping Radharani, who are helping Krishna. But there are some manjaris who are not in the forefront. Their objective is to serve the gopis. That's why our objective is not, once again, just directly jump in, barge in, that, oh, I want to enjoy the Supreme Lord. No, our just to help the devotees, how they can help the Supreme Lord, because we don't feel that qualified enough, right, to directly even enjoy the opulence of the Lord. That's a manjari. That's das dasanu das. Like, we always give this example. Once you want to water a tree, we don't go and water the leaves and the branches. But we want to water the root of the tree, and the root is Krishna. That's what we say. But can we, just dig the soil and really put directly into that root? No, we put it in the soil, and the soil, right? Once you put it in the soil, the root takes that water from that soil. So similarly, once you offer our love and devotion towards the devotees of the Lord, want to serve the devotees of the Lord, through that Lord accepts whatever we want to offer to the Supreme Lord. So we cannot offer, yes, definitely we can offer to the Lord through the Archana, through the Puja, through the different ways. But then once you come in the association of the devotees, right, and once you hear the Bani, once you serve them, then definitely we can, activate the third component of bhakti. That's what it's Srota Sakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hrudi Antosthohi Avadrani Vidhunoti Srusatam. The devotees of the Lord, through this, and there are two Bhagavat it is mentioned. One is the Sastra Bhagavatam, another Bhakta Bhagavatam. They help us in as a washerman's role. Hrudi Antosthohi Avadrani Vidhunoti Surhutsatam. Hrudi Antosthohi Avadrani. Whatever the avadra, inauspiciousness, anarthas that we have in our heart, they really remove everything. You see what is the role of a acharya? They act as a vidhunoti suhrut satam. And how? Yes, once we serve them, once we hear them. And anybody can guess what could be the fourth component, fourth chamber of this? We talked about first. Anybody can say what is the first one we said? What is the first one we said?
Recognize the God in our heart.
Recognize the God in our heart. Specifically, okay, the presence of Lord Krishna, Radharani in our heart. Okay, what is the next?
Invite Lord.
Invite Lord. Okay, and especially we said we cannot approach Radha Krishna. We have to approach through the most magnificent.
Yeah, that's the third one. Through the devotees.
Acharyas.
Through the Gaur-Nitai.
Acharyas and
Acharyas.
Gaur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through Sri Gaur-Nitai. Only through Panchatattva. That's why even right, like whatever we do, we pray to Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai. And the third component of the heart, we said, what is that? Through the Acharyas.
Acharyas.
Through serving that Lord. Now I'm asking the fourth component of the heart. What is that fourth component? What is the fourth chamber of the heart, which is really critical?
Chanting.
Chanting the holy name.
Chanting.
Chanting of the holy name.
Holy
All of
name.
you have done PhD.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All of you are so elevated devotees. Yes, you have done the PhDs. You have really understood what are the four chambers that is there, that is required, right? We need to develop that relationship. We need to develop that relationship. We need to develop that emotions towards the Supreme Lord, Sri Radha Krishna, to Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, to our acharyas, and most importantly to the holy name. Because we discussed this topic, because I remember, was it here, our Punit Prabhu, right? Like, Radha Gopinath Prabhu in our Sunday session, he was asking, like, okay, you talked about Radha Krishna, now you talk about Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, are they same or they are different? Right? Yes, we approach the Supreme Lord, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, through our acharyas, through Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai. That's why whenever we offer pranam, right, we offer pranam to, we see in our Mangalacharan also, you see that we always offer pranam to the holy name. We offer the pranam to Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas. We offer our pranam to Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, and we offer our pranam to the Supreme Lord, Sri Sri Radha Krishna. And for that, what is really required? How to develop that relationship? How to develop that emotions? Just will very quickly share. There are three components that is required. And first and most important thing is our intention, our desire. Because yes, we might say that, okay, let's say I want to learn music, but first for that, what do you have to do? I have to have the desire of learning music. I need to have that laulyam. If somebody wants to, let's say, learn cricket, he develops the desire, through some association, through by hearing, reading, and by watching so many things. By you desire what you associate with. So we need to be in right association so that we get the right intention. And then intention is enough. What is required beyond intention? Any thoughts? Yes, our attention. We have to show our intention. That's why it's love is nothing but the attention to the detail, right? How do you really be attentive while chanting the holy name? how we are attentive while offering our archana or puja to the Lord, how we are attentive to the devotees while hearing maybe the different satsangs, the different classes, how we are attentive when Lord is really reciprocating within our heart. Yes, attention is the second most important thing, and that really brings out the next point. What is that? Yes, intention has to really direct to the attention, and attention really lead to the affection. It's once again, it's yes, we should learn, through our purify our intelligence by reading the shastras, to hearing through the different classes, but it should really lead to the affection. It should really develop that relationship. It's not that as we said, from the name, right? It has to be complemented with the knowledge, but the knowledge has to be complemented with that love, with that relationship. Otherwise, we might not be able to relate to the name. We might not be able to chant the name, with that affection, and then we'll not be able to feel the presence of the Lord. Though we might say that, okay, some name, but then as long as we don't have that knowledge, or we don't have that love, right? Like now, if I say, let's say, Subhangi, like, I have so much affection for my daughter, right? So yes, the knowledge and the other aspects, and I already taken care. But if I want to hear what somebody else name, that okay, I might not be able to relate to it, right? Or as I said once again, right? But once I have some knowledge, yeah, I get a little bit more, knowledge about it. I connect to that name. But then, right, once I have that name with some love, with some emotions, then it really flows out. Then I don't really ask for anything from that relationship. I just really pour out my heart. Similarly, once you have realized through these various seasons that yes, Lord is a supreme, right? And Lord is having so many beautiful characteristics. And not only that, he is so merciful, he's so close to all of us, that he's waiting for us to reciprocate that beautiful relationship. And he's the supreme father, he's the supreme lover, he's the supreme object of our life. Then we should really call out to the Supreme Lord, oh Lord, please, Mama Mana Mandire Rahani Siddhi Krishna Murari Sri Krishna Murari. Very beautiful bhajan as we sang today. That we are really then call out to the Lord, with our heartfelt cry, with heartfelt offering, whatever we offer it, just a small tulasi or a chandan or a garland, whatever we offer, that will offer not just, we are just giving it to somebody, but through love, through the emotions, through that connection. And then definitely once you understand the relationship, then Nayana Jamuna Jhari Anivar, then love of the tears of the love will flow, and our heart will be melted. Our heart will be melted. Now our heart will not be hard, or that stinking. It will be really fragrance with love. And once we have that love, we can share the love with others. Because we don't have that love, we are not able to share with others. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any thoughts, comments, questions?
Well, in Bhagavad Gita also it is there now, Prabhuji. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, that one says this thing is that you can offer either leaf or a fruit or a flower or anything with love and affection. So God will accept.
Yes, Lord is really in that verse, he's saying Bhaktya. Like you have to offer it with love. Lord is not hungry, like Duryodhana was offering so many things. Lord didn't accept it. So we don't think that, okay, we sing some nice sloka or we offer some chapan bhog, right? But if it is without the love, right, that's the most important catalyst that is required. Right? If you don't offer that love, Lord will not accept it. So we have to ensure that we have to add that love while preparing the prasadam, while chanting the holy name, while we hear, Bhagavatam, that love has to be imbibed in that offering. Thank you. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण।
आज का सेशन तो बहुत अच्छा लगा। वो लास्ट वाला जो हार्ट का वो अफेक्शन वाला पिक्चर, जब हम पूरे प्योर हो जाएंगे तो हमारा हार्ट भी वैसा ही हो जाएगा ना?
Absolutely, Mataji. Yes, it might take some time, but then Lord is very merciful. The devotees are merciful. They are acting like that washerman's role, right? To purify or to clean us. We have to really mention this, हम नल के नीचे बैठे हुए हैं तो धुलाई हो रहा है, तो इतना
जी।
चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है। जस्ट हमको नल के नीचे बैठ के थोड़ा सा
जी
उसका आस्वादन करना चाहिए वो पानी का।
जी जी। वो हमें प्रेयर करते 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 प्रभु हमें प्योर कर देंगे।
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to
जी
just continue this process, with love. And
जी प्रभु।
that, as we said, three things: our intention, with our strong desire, right? With our attention, completely focused, completely absorbed, and with affection, just bring that heart. Oh Lord, we are really begging for mercy. We are yearning for mercy. We are crying for your mercy.
जी प्रभु जी, ये वाला भजन आज मैंने पहली बार सुना है। बहुत सुंदर भजन है ये।
हरे
जी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Anybody else? Yes, Mataji saying, bhav is important. That's why Lord is saying, aham sarvasya prabhu mato sarvam iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava sameta. Once you understand that Krishna is everything, then we need a buddha bhava. We need to bring our emotions. We need to connect to the Supreme Lord. Once you have that intelligence, it's our bhakti should not be limited to through the intellectual understanding only. Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, thank you, Srinivas Prabhu. Yes, Lord is there in our heart. We cannot cheat the Supreme Lord. He's there as a Krishna. He's there also as a Narasimha. If we behave like Hiranyakasipu, he also can rip us apart. So you have to be careful. Okay.
Guruji, one question is, has Krishna also mentioned if our soul is near the heart? I mean,
Yes.
The soul is in the heart? Because
yes, as we discussed right now, right? Like sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto mato smrutir jnanam apohanam cha. Like this is the 15th chapter, 15th verse, right? Right here, Lord is saying in this verse, sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto. And there is one more verse, Iswaras Sarvabhutanam Hrududese Arjuna Tishtati. That's there also in 18th chapter. So in so many places, Lord is saying. But as you discussed, right, we are not really only talking about some hardware, some object, right? This is subtle. That's what you are referring to. This is really the core, this consciousness that we are referring to. Thank you, Krishnan. Hope it answers your question. Okay, any other thoughts before we once again pour out our heart through this practical season of chanting the holy name? Okay, let's start chanting of the holy name then. You can read the nectar of the holy name, Prabhuji. Okay, beautiful. Namamritam. This is Amrita, this is a nectar. You have to drink it. What Acharyas are saying here, in Kali Yuga, rather than looking toward the light of mental speculation and atheist, people should take advantage of Lord Chaitanya's movement of chanting Hare Krishna. During the rainy season in the evening, there are many glowworms visible about the tops of trees, hither and thither, and they glitter just like lights. But the luminaries of the sky, the stars and the moons are not visible. Similarly, in the age of Kali, persons who are atheists or miscreants become very prominently visible, whereas persons who are actually following the Vedic principles for spiritual emancipation are practically obscured. This age, Kali Yuga, is compared to the cloudy season of the living entities. In this age, real knowledge is covered by the influence of material advancement of civilization. The cheap mental speculators, atheists, and manufacture of so-called religious principle becomes prominent like the glowworms, whereas persons strictly following the Vedic principles or scriptural injections become covered by the clouds of this age. People should learn to take advantage of the actual luminaries of the sky, the sun, the moon, and stars, instead of the glowworm's light. Actually, the glowworm cannot give any light in the darkness of night. As clouds sometimes clear, even in the rainy season, and sometimes the moon and star and sun becomes visible. So even in this Kali Yuga, there are sometimes advantages. The Vedic movement of Lord Chaitanya, the distribution of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is heard in this way. People seriously anxious to find real life should take advantage of this movement instead of looking forward to the light of mental speculators and atheists. How very beautiful analogy Prabhupada is giving here, taking from the Krishna book. He's saying that how sometimes in the rainy season, when there is a cloud and it's a full dark, right? You don't see the light, but then there are some glowworms, with some feeble light they give, like that, they cannot give us the light, to go to see what is what, but then during the tough time also, sometimes the cloud opens up and we see the sun, moon, and so on. Similarly, this Kali Yuga is a really dark age, but then during this dark age, Kale Dose Nidhe Rajam also, there are sometimes we get this opportunity to have that visibility of the sun and moon, like Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, who have come to give us this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let's take advantage of it by seriously taking shelter of their lotus feet, by sincerely chanting their holy name. So first, let's offer our obeisances to Panchatattva mantra, this one, and then we'll proceed for chanting. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti
भक्तभावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। पंचतत्व भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you very much. So now let's proceed towards our breakout sessions. Hare Krishna. So Deepak Prabhu, Deepali Mataji, we can pause the live YouTube.